Walking around, Keijuo saw the ninjas around the camp as they went about their daily duties. Some were sparring against each other, some watched them, some went on about their duties of patrolling, and some headed back to their tents to get some rest. It wasn't a pretty sight. He saw hundreds upon hundreds of people, of men, women, and even what people called children in his world, preparing to fight others to the death for some deranged concept of helping out their country, of protecting their homes and friends. Protecting them, as if Keijuo sneered as he thought back to the Konoha leaders. Hiruzen was a disgrace of a Hokage. Someone who was meant to be the strongest and more charismatic leader had been turned into a puppet by Danza. That bastard can do anything he wants and he will never get punished, and then there's this war. The Senju clan has all but disappeared because of those two old wretches, and now the world views Konoha as weak. If it wasn't because of those two, then things would have been completely different, Keijuo thought as he headed back to his tent. Once inside, Keijuo started rummaging through his belongings once more, trying to find anything of use. A while later, he had put everything that he had found that he thought could be useful. And by everything, he meant one thing only. It was a blue scroll that held the knowledge of how to perform the C-rank jutsu, water bullet. At least it's better than not having anything, Keijuo thought before he opened the scroll and started reading through it. Hours passed as Keijuo delved deeply into the scroll, and night had almost fallen upon the world, the sun already setting as it cast its orange glow on the world. It was at this moment that Keijuo, who had been reading the scroll, heard a loud sound. It sounded like a ginormous explosion that shook the very ground. Quickly hopping onto his feet, Keijuo grabbed his weapon pack and jumped outside of the tent quickly. He saw it get engulfed in flames merely a second later after he had jumped. Fuck, what is this shitty luck, Keijuo thought as he quickly looked around, trying to find out what the hell was happening. All around him, Keijuo saw ninjas fighting each other, explosions rocking the world, and flames erupting all around as tents caught on fire from either jutsus or the explosion tags. Those fucking cloud ninjas, Keijuo thought before he quickly turned and started running to the edge of the camp. As if I'm going to fight when I have a broken ankle, Keijuo thought. However, he was soon forced to stop in place as an enemy ninja appeared before him. It was the same guy, the same damned guy who had killed him the last turn when he was out on patrol. What do we have here, a little tree hugger? The man said with that same annoying voice of his. So the reason why we met him so close to the camp was that they were getting rid of all patrols and making sure that the camp wasn't ready for their ambush. Does that mean that I'm doomed to fight him when I'm on patrol? Keijuo thought he didn't even get a kunai out of his weapon bag. Did you give up already? I always knew that the tree huggers were scared bitches, the man said with a short laugh before he started running toward Keijuo with a smile on his face. As he came close, the man plunged his sword into Keijuo's stomach. Sneering into Keijuo's face, the man's expression seemed to say that this was what he expected from him, nothing more. It was at this moment that Keijuo moved unexpectedly, grasping the man's arms and bringing him closer. A large smile erupted on Keijuo's face as he looked at the man. I'm afraid, Keijuo said as the sword plunged even deeper into his stomach. The Jonin's expression twisted as he looked at the crazed expression on Keijuo's face. Alarm bells were ringing in his head, however no matter what he tried, Keijuo wouldn't let go of his arm. It was at this moment that he heard the young kid before him mutter a single but frightening word that sent shivers down his spine. Kai. As dread erupted inside the Jonin's mind, it was already too late. A thunderous explosion occurred as Keijuo's body together with the Jonin was devoured by it and almost erased from existence. Keijuo's last thoughts were simple. Who's scared now? And once more Keijuo found himself back inside his tent, his breath coming in harsh huffs as he looked like he had awoken from a bad nightmare. After a few moments, Keijuo managed to calm himself down and slowed down his breaths. Being exploded really isn't fun, that hurts more than having your head severed, Keijuo said as he rubbed his arms which were covered in goosebumps at the memory of the pain he had experienced in his last moments. And Kenji promptly appeared once more and told him about their patrol mission. We have a... Before he could finish, Keijuo interrupted him. Patrol mission, in 10 minutes at the front entrance, I know. Kenji stopped and looked at him weirdly for a moment before nodding his head and heading out of the tent. Turning around, Keijuo wore his combat outfit for the third time before starting to head toward the front entrance of the camp once more. I'll just have to push through the fight in the patrol and come back, or I could even let these two guys become bait and survive myself so that I come back to the camp and tell them about the incoming ambush. Keijuo thought as he arrived at the front entrance of the ninja camp. Hey! Kenji said as he gave Keijuo a wave of his hand. And after a short talk, they headed out of the camp once more. Here's the 5th chapter, I hope you guys liked reading it. Lots of love. Naruto author.